You're listening to RTLSA.
He's probably been on the show just as much as what I have. Never met him in person, but my goodness, Dave, you like part of the furniture on RTL. How's it going?
Very well, very well. From a very wet Cape Town.
I
Well,
wanted
we just been having so much rain down here.
I wanted to talk to you about that. I actually got a little bone to pick with you about the Cape Town weather because you guys sent the weather up to us this weekend and my cricket game got cancelled and it's still pissing down with rain up here.
Yeah, but we send it to you with love, so you can't refuse it.
Tell me something. I was
Yeah.
reading I was reading reports that people in Cape Town felt the earth tremor on Saturday evening. Did you feel anything?
No, so I was at Jubel en Arde, which is a bit more inland, and I didn't feel anything. No. But a lot of my friends actually did feel something. Yeah.
You see, I'm puzzled and confused a little bit about it because it's actually closer to Durban. The epicenter of this actual earthquake, the 6.2 magnitude earthquake, was closer to Durban. But I do not know one person in Durban that felt it.
No, I actually don't know how it works, but apparently some people felt it in Cape
Yeah.
Town, and apparently there was a story about someone's glass of wine fell off a table, which is a massive disaster. My
No,
God, can you imagine that?
I would imagine that's a disaster. I, I
So
wouldn't
I mean,
necessarily.
that's that big extent to the whole drama, you know.
Yes,
So
but I wouldn't
really, there's
necessarily.
nothing to it.
I wouldn't necessarily say that that had anything to do with the earthquake, though. That could have just been something to do with the person consuming the
Yeah, that's
beverage.
true. No, absolutely. But let's go with the earthquake.
So, what are you drinking? You flashed a nice little glass over there,
So
Nana.
I'm enjoying a glass of uh, South African Milo,
I,
supporting. This is my philanthropy. My philanthropy is drinking red wine to aid South African farmers. Cheers.
I couldn't agree with you more. And you know what? I actually pegged you for a Merlot guy. Funny enough.
Oh, thank you. Thanks,
Yeah,
Noel.
because good people drink Merlots. That's the only wine I drink as
Oh,
well.
I love you too. Eh?
So Dave, so finally we get you
Yeah.
on get you on a show. I mean, you've been on the daytime shows quite a lot, and we speak, and it's all serious. We speak about the economy and stuff like that. And I've been wanting for the
Yeah.
longest time to get you onto this show because on this show we just talk about everything. There's nothing specific. We don't talk about economy. We get to know you better, and from our little
Okay.
bantering that we had on the day shows, I think that you're going to be a good fit for tonight because um, there are no scripts. There's no rules. No subject off limits.
I don't know
No,
if that's such a good thing. Eh? No, oh my God, no, really.
let me tell you. I don't know if you know the Broke Braza. They are Cape Town comedians, and
Yeah,
they were on my show like 2 weeks ago, and it was chaos,
yeah.
absolute
I
chaos.
was.
That hour
I can imagine.
flew by,
Okay,
and
I can
and then
imagine.
a few weeks ago I had Don Seagreen on the show, and I think
Okay.
every third word that he said wasn't a swear word.
Okay, no, I
Yeah.
promise not to swear. No, I won't
No, no,
swear.
no, no, you
I'll keep
can.
it clean. I'll keep it clean.
And then we also invite the listeners to get involved as well and send questions through and whatever if they do have any questions for you. So let's talk about
Okay.
you quickly for a little bit. Who are you, Dave?
Mm,
Um, I know. Obviously, you've been the CEO of Cabin, and you've got your finger in a couple of different pies and stuff like that. But who is Dave Romero? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, if I had to describe myself, simply, I'm a father. I'm a very proud father of three wonderful champion kids, and to me, that is my greatest pride and joy and my greatest achievement, my children. Um, but I just, in particular during the lockdown, no, I must say I shifted dramatically as an individual, hey? And if you want to describe who I am, I'm here just to serve. I just want to make a difference. I just want to make an impact. I want to make an impact in someone's life every single day of my life, in whatever format or a platform. And if I can achieve that and elevate people to a higher level, then I think then I've accomplished a lot. No, so
Yeah.
that's really what I'm about.
And you don't just do it in business either. You do it. I mean, like your daily posts on Africa Rock the Lockdown are very motivational, very inspirational, very informative as well. What's your thinking about that? Because it must take you a while to put those posts together.
Yeah. No, listen, I must confess, when I started those posts, I anticipate I'll be doing 187 posts,
Yeah.
which is today. So I just thought, okay, so we're going to go down during this lockdown, which I initially agreed to. I thought it was a good thing initially. And I just thought, I'll just give a little bit of myself by just, if I can help one individual through the lockdown, because the lockdown is a stressful situation and we all in it together, regardless of what color we are, what religious beliefs, we're in this together. And if we can just, in some small way, just help someone get through it, then I think that we've accomplished something great if we're all able to achieve that goal. And that's how I kicked it off. But I mean, I didn't foresee it was going to be so long.
187 bloody.
And I don't know. I was just saying to my friend the other day, where do I start? Because I mean,
I remember. I remember.
till lockdown completes. It could be like another year. I mean, I don't know.
Who knows? But I remember there was a
Yeah.
patch. I think when we were in the middle of level 3 and whatever, and things were starting. I think when we went to level 3 advanced and things like that, and you actually put it out on the group. You said, "Should I continue doing these posts?" And you had such an influx of responses saying, "Hell yeah, you should
Yeah.
keep doing these posts." Yeah, so
Yeah.
they obviously
Yeah.
resonate.
Yeah, that was it was awesome. But these posts have been instrumental as part of my shift. When I just express what I feel from the heart, because what I'm posting is I live by what I post. So and when you post and you share your life experiences and in some way you can touch someone's life, it's just so rewarding. No, it's just an amazing feeling. So let me say that it's almost self-serving because the response that you get from people that the post resonate with, the responses you get just like energizes you as an individual. So it's just an amazing experience.
The lockdown has
I hope
been.
that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
No, it absolutely does, because the lockdown in a lot of ways has been an incredible experience for a lot of people. And I think very early in lockdown, you and I spoke about it as well in one of the shows. And if I remember correctly, it was something in the lines of whoever is proactive during this time is going to come out of it much stronger and better. I think it was something like that. And I've actually seen a lot of people have come out of this stronger. Yeah, maybe okay, they've taken like financial knocks and stuff like that, but generally there's been a lot of personal growth. Sorry, were you saying something?
No, well, no, I think I totally agree with you. I think that I find it I find it within my own circle that people have shifted. It's just brought to the fore what is real, and what is really important, and it's brought it to the fore in such a dramatic, um, forceful way, where you have to sit back and say, shit, what is really important in life? Is it accumulating net worth, or is it accumulating self worth? Developing yourself as an individual, isn't that more important than driving a big fancy car in the driveway? And that's how people have shifted. People starting to wake up and be aware of what's more important in life, and that's what's brought what's the positive aspect about lockdown. I know it sounds crazy. Please don't hate me for it. I'm not saying that lockdown was a positive situation at all, but what I'm saying is that lockdowns forced us to rethink what is important in our lives, and I don't think that's such a bad thing. Hey?
You know, it's interesting because I was watching a rebroadcast of Carte Blanche earlier this afternoon, and the whole thing on Carte Blanche was about 5G and the dangers of 5G and stuff like it. But one woman they were talking to, they had a Facebook page, and they had about 8,000 people on this Facebook page before lockdown, and it wasn't going anywhere. And they were like trying to grow this group to oppose the rollout of 5G in Australia and stuff like that. And then they jumped in the first week of lockdown. They jumped from about 8,000 to 40,000 people. And what she was saying was quite interesting. She was saying that people, when they were locked down, had time to think and reflect,
Yeah,
and make
Yeah.
decisions.
yeah. No, absolutely. It's look. I don't want to sound very dramatic, but it's almost like an awakening and saying and questioning more. People are questioning more, and because of social media and all these various platforms, it's given the man in the street an opportunity to question and to analyze and to make your own conclusions. And I think that is a dramatic shift in the positive direction, because I think more often than not people have a herd mentality where they just follow the masses. And now I think that what's happened now, the global pandemic, people sitting back and saying, hang on a minute, what's going on? And are starting to question and analyze more. And that's why I believe there is a new awakening of sorts, of people thinking things through and questioning more. And yeah, it's a step in the right direction.
Well, let's put you on the spot. What are your thoughts on 5G? Are you for or against?
No, that is so bad. No, you cannot do this.
You had to know I was going somewhere with this.
No. Okay, but honest truth is I'm indifferent.
Okay.
I'm indifferent. I don't believe that I have enough information to formulate an opinion, and I hear a lot of, I read a lot of reports that it's bad for you, but there are also reports that say that it's okay. So, when telephones started off right at the beginning, there were pundits that said that it's going to cause cancer.
Yep.
Normal telephone lines when it started out, and that proved to be wrong. So, I'm indifferent, and I'm not swayed either way. And the only reason for that is because I don't have the information and I'm not informed to make an opinion. But having said all of that, I plan to be informed so that I can give you a proper answer.
I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm going to give you like a week to research, and then I'm gonna get you back on the line. I'm gonna hold you to that. But you know what?
You so can do that.
You said something interesting there, speaking about the telephone. And in this whole carte blanche thing, they were talking about the fears that people had when the first microwave came onto the scene, and the fears people had with the cell phones and fears people had with 3G and then 4G and now 5G. They think that people are just overreacting a bit.
And I think it's also driven because remember the 5G has been pushed by by Chinese companies.
Yeah.
So it's been pushed by China. So Europe and America is resisting, and it's just trying to come up with ways of pushing
Catching
back. So we don't really know what the truth is now. But like you rightly said, like every time there's been some technology development, there's always been the pundits that said this is going to be bad for you, and it wasn't bad, you know. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to stand on the street corner with a placard banning 5G. Not yet. But I could be convinced.
But if there was a 5G phone available on the market right now, which they are, but obviously the systems haven't rolled out yet properly. But would you be in line for a 5G phone?
No, not yet. I wouldn't
Not
buy
yet.
one.
You'd wait a little bit.
I'll wait. Yeah, I'll wait and see.
Now you must check these conspiracy theorists now. They claim that 5G was the cause of COVID-19.
Oh, come on.
No, true story. True story.
No, really, I read about it. But really, you must be really smoking your fucking socks to think that.
But their rationale was
Come
the rationale was
I don't
that
care. Come on, no.
apparently
Come on.
Wuhan has 5,000 of these antenna systems up already. And it was just so well timed that when they launched their systems, COVID-19 came into the picture as well. So the conspiracy theorists are like going full ball with this. It gets better. Do you know how many celebrities, like I'm talking about big celebrities that have millions of followers, bought into it? And they went on their social media and promoted that concept as well.
Oh, that's their problem, mate. No, I mean, really, you really have to be messed up to think that that's related.
No, I know.
Oh, God, I can radio waves affect a virus. Radio waves affect a virus. Come on. Where's the logic?
Dave, we have some really interesting people in the world. We think everybody's normal, but they're not. They're not. They're absolutely not normal.
Okay, let me be clear. I'm not normal. But, is there a difference of that kind of normality, okay? Because,
Is there a little part of you that's a conspiracy theorist? Do you believe in some conspiracies? Like JFK, do you think it was a conspiracy?
Oh, well, JFK was killed by the mafia. So, and they were aided by the CIA. It's no conspiracy. Just CIA helped the mafia wipe them out, wipe JFK out. I'm not quite sure whether they're conspiracies. No, we're just taking facts. Give me a different conspiracy. Give me something more challenging there. No, come on.
Jeez. Okay, 5G. 5G and COVID-19.
What about it? This is like a whole global order takeover scenario.
Oh goodness, Dave! I'm going to take a little break, and when I come back, I want to talk to you a little bit about Cape Town. Okay, we're going to just take a short music break. When I come back, we're going to talk to you a little bit about Cape Town, because when I had those comedians on the show the other day, they said something very interesting to me, and I want to bounce that off you, and I want to see if you would agree with what they say, or maybe disagree. So I'll let you ponder in the meantime.
Okay.
Loving it, hanging out, spending some time with Dave Romero tonight. all the way from the United States of Cape Town. Dave, I got a comment.
Yeah.
Bev says she loves reading your daily posts, and she does read them religiously. And then I got a question for you as well. Take a listen to this.
Tell me now, what does Dave actually do for a living?
Daniel's son wants to know what you do for a living. So why don't we answer his question quickly?
Okay, so I call myself an impact venture capitalist, and I help entrepreneurs develop their businesses. Okay, so be it from a concept or through a business that wants to go through a growth phase. And we've developed a unique business concept to assist companies to achieve that goal. And the people that are within the Caban company, we call ourselves Cabanites. We're entrepreneurs that help other entrepreneurs, and we want to make a difference. And that is our main passion, our main driver. We want to make a difference in entrepreneurs because they're the lifeblood of the economy. They create jobs, and if we create jobs, you start solving the social ills of our country. And and that's what we're about.
Where did it all begin, Dave? Because you strike me as the type of guy that works very hard. And I just get a feeling, and I mean, obviously you and I have not met face to face. We have chatted quite a few times on the phone and in the shows. But you strike me as the type of person that worked very hard to be where you are today.
Yeah, so I've been an entrepreneur now for 32 years, and from a very young age, at the age of 24, was a managing director of a private equity company. And I achieved success very early in my life. But in those days, in my 20s and 30s, I was driven by money. I was doing it for money, and I was very wealthy. And then I started shifting slowly over the years. That it's not about so much about the money, but it's more about the impact that you can make in people's lives. That's more important. It's developing one's self-worth as opposed to just one's net worth. Just developing what's really important. And now I think that now I've reached a balance between the two, because it's okay to accumulate some toys while you're making a dramatic impact in people's lives. As long as making money remains a secondary motive, and your primary motive is to make a difference in people's lives, then you're on the right path. When your primary motive is to make money, you will always fail. You will always fail in that regard.
So you speak of these toys. What toys have you accumulated over the years?
No, but not now. Now I've given up most of it. But I had when I was 24, I had a brand new 325 Cabriolet. When I was 26, I had a 911 Carrera. When I was 32, I had a 500 SL. So yes, I've had a few toys, and now they're done irrelevant.
And now you drive a Toyota Corolla.
Now I drive a 19-year-old Mercedes C180, 19 years old.
19 years.
And 19 years old and 400,000 K on the clock, but she serves me well.
Yeah.
And that's it, no pretense.
Why do you think
Beautiful car.
Why do you think things like that become less important the older you get? What is the shift in your thinking?
Yeah, because as you grow older, you realize and you understand what's really important in life. We all go through our early stages where you think that status is related to the car you drive and the house you live in. And that's okay. It's okay to go through that process. It's not like I'm saying that's a bad process. That I think maybe one should all experience that kind of drive and ambition. But as you grow older, you realize that that's really not important. What really gives you uh, an elevated amount of satisfaction is when you help somebody, when you give yourself, be it financially or of your time, that is far more rewarding than sitting in a fancy car and driving the highway. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing, but you reach a stage in your life where you understand what is what gives you the greatest satisfaction. That's all it is. And and this for me personally, this lockdown has shifted me dramatically spiritually, and I'm going to be going to my 60s full of fire and drive and making an impact. That's who I am.
Now, in your 20s, and people can say what they want, but early in your 20s, you got this vision of where you're going to be one day. You know, you're going to achieve this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. How does that vision of Dave Romero at 20 differ to the vision of Dave Romero today?
Okay, so in my early 20s, it was more focusing on accumulating personal wealth and toys, because you're sort of driven by that, and I achieved a relatively amount of success in that regard. And now I have great satisfaction in helping people, and I'm fortunate that I'm in a position where I do help a lot of people, be it mentoring, be it helping um, non-profits. And I've gone through a phase where the last 2.5 years have been a drought, and now through the lockdown, I've just shifted a gear and just gone back into my groove, and I just love helping people now. I just have a great sense of satisfaction when I can achieve that.
So this is a really deep and probably a question that might strike a little nerve, but do fast cars really pull chicks?
I was expecting a very profound question, I mean, seriously, no.
That is an important question.
I take a string of red wine to answer that. I mean, really. Yes.
Were you sweating a little bit?
No, of course it does. Of course it does. No. For God's sake, what kind of a question was that?
That was a question from somebody who has never had a Carrera.
But, listen, I would like to think that my charm also carried me. Hopefully. It wasn't just a car. Just hopefully it was a little bit of my charm. No, maybe.
Well, I think you just answered my question emphatically. All right. So a couple of weeks ago, I had Bevan and Liam on my show, and they Cape Town comedians, and they've been very busy and instrumental online during lockdown as well. They've done a great job. And I think it was Bevan that said something to me very interesting, because it was just before we moved down to level 1. And he said to me, finally, the rest of South Africa is going to join the Western Cape at level 1. implying that the Western Cape never was at level 5. They were at level 1 from day 1. What are your thoughts on that?
Sure, I don't know how to answer this one. Let me see.
Come on, rat on your Cape buddies.
On the alcohol side? Was it the alcohol side is implying that there was no problem?
Yeah, well, what he was saying was that the Western Cape never really complied with the lockdown regulations from day 1. and sort of
Yeah,
leaning
I
toward.
would say that would be probably a very accurate statement.
Why do you think that is? Why the Western Cape specifically? I don't know about other centres in the country. I like to think that KZN was very well behaved, from what I saw. But then again, I was well behaved during lockdown, and I stayed in and I stayed at home. I didn't go traveling around, so I don't really know what happened outside the doors.
Well, no, but I think everybody, even in the Western Cape, followed the rules. But frankly, the rule of not being able to go to the beach is so bizarre that people said, I mean, really, why can't we go to the beach? How can it possibly pose a risk? So people said, fuck it, we're going to go to the beach, and they did. And really, and I think that a lot of the people, I don't know why in particular West Cape, but just sort of pushed some of the rules, and we just said we're not going to go for it because it doesn't make any sense. But I think it wasn't only in the Western Cape. I think a lot of the other provinces were also saying some of these regulations don't make any sense, and we're not going to follow them. And the funny thing is, no, that the SAPS did not try to enforce these rules.
That's what I was going to ask you now, because in Joburg, the JMPD were extremely strict. And I mean, I think at one point there were 22,000 people arrested in like a week or something like that. And 80% of them were in Joburg. And, I know in KZN, the KZN Metro and the SAPS were also quite strict. Are you saying that in the Western Cape that they weren't as they didn't enforce the regulations as much as what they did in other provinces? Do you think that would be
No,
fair
initially
assessment?
they did. No, initially they did. When people were arrested on just walked on the beachfront and whatever. So initially there was quite a lot of that, but towards the end, I think they also starting to realize they didn't make any sense to enforce those rules. Yeah, I think there's more important people to chase after than someone wanting to surf on a beach. I mean, it's just bizarre. So yeah, I don't think there's just start enforcing those rules.
You know, I want to get your thoughts on this, because you obviously posting a lot, and I've also been very much involved in the news and whatever. And I'm not sure how I would answer the question if I was asked the question, but I'm going to ask you this question anyway. From a global perspective, from an overall perspective, do you think that we handled, and I say we, I'm talking about our government, handled this thing right?
Yeah, so initially I agreed with the lockdown because the lockdown was designed to establish what was the shortcomings of our health system. So that was the whole purpose of the lockdown. And it's supposed to have only been 2 weeks, and we extended for another week. But when the lockdown extended to the level that it is now, it's taken like almost 6 months, it just actually defeats the purpose. When you have, and it's a delicate balance, but when you let the economy sink by 51% and make 3 million people unemployed, you have to stop questioning the situation. And I know people will say, how can you value lives? And I'm not talking about valuing lives, but 3 million people unemployed in our country impacts at least 10 million people. 10 million people. So
Almost a quarter of our
if you're asking
population.
me, did we handle it properly? Yeah. So if you're asking me, do we handle this thing properly? My answer is twofold. Initially, yes, we were strong and powerful, and we made the right decisions. And thereafter, it just became a circus.
I think at some point it became more about the politics than it did about the actual COVID-19. But now,
Yeah, no, absolutely, and yeah, but you know, but it appears that Ramaphosa now is putting his foot down and asserting some form of authority, which, if that is sustainable, I think it's a good thing for our country.
Now, with the rest of the world at the moment, particularly in Europe, I mean, we're talking about the UK, we're talking about France. Um, they're seeing second waves springing up, and they expect it's going to be a lot worse now as they head into winter months and things like that. Um, do you think that? And I know you're not a authority on health, so I'm asking your opinion. But do you think that we will be ready if we have a second wave? And if we have a second wave,
Yep.
how do you think we should handle the economy this time around?
Now, so we remember we're going now. We in spring going to our summer, so it should help. It should help. And I'm following, as you know, I'm following the numbers daily, and now active cases is declining all the time. Um, so I don't see a second wave unless, obviously, when we open our borders into international travel, that the international travelers bring it back into our country and that causes a second wave. So that we obviously have to be careful. And in terms of the economy, we cannot afford to shut down the economy again. We cannot do it. It just would already. Um, we've regressed the economy to such an extent that it's going to take us about 2 to 3 years to get back to this level. Only this level, never mind any future growth. And if I'm afraid if we try to lock down, it will take us maybe 5 to 7 years to reach this level. And remember that we're trying to reach back to this level, but at the same time, every year we've got new people into the marketplace, new matriculants that are into the marketplace looking for jobs. So our unemployment rate is going to hit 50% plus.
That's a bleak picture. Thanks for making us all depressed
Yeah, but
now.
I think no. Well, hang on. Okay, I mean, I'm a eternal optimist, but at the same time, that fortune. No, I need to clarify now because of what you said. But the thing is this that there's a lot of opportunities to make a big difference, and I'm one. I believe I'm one of those people. Yes, I've been silent for some time, and I've rejuvenated. And people have got the skill to elevate entrepreneurs that we go into the situation and make a difference. So, although it is doom and gloom, there's a lot of opportunities to make a difference and grow this economy to even stronger levels. We can do it. We can. It's achievable. We just need the majority of our people to want to achieve those goals. That's all.
Now, if you think, let's say there is no second wave and numbers keep on going down and a vaccine comes into the picture at a later stage and whatever, do you think that our finance minister, Tito Mboweni, and Cyril Ramaphosa are moving us in the right direction? Have they got the right idea if everything goes our way?
Okay, so there's no doubt that in the ANC there's two factions. And you have the Ace faction that wants to pull the current faction down, and and Ramaphosa's faction has had to fight this before it can start implementing uh, the um, the resolutions that we need in our country to push it forward. I think now, especially of late, that Ramaphosa seems to have the upper hand. It's starting to look like it. I think it's we're in a part of the right direction. And if Ramaphosa can solidify his base and start implementing economic policy that will grow our economy, we start in the right direction now.
Well, we can only hope. We can only hope. But I mean, we do have elections coming
Yeah.
up, and that's, it becomes a messy game leading towards the polls. And I just look at this whole, and I know that Tresemme doesn't really affect you. You definitely don't use
The
the
what?
product.
Does it affect me? What?
Tresemme, the hair
Okay.
products. They don't really affect you. You don't really need them. But just
Okay.
this whole thing with Tresemme and the clicks thing and whatever, I just really thought that, the EFF took a really big and bold step there to get political gain leading up to the elections. And I'm a little bit worried that the ANC is going down, the DA is nowhere, and the EFF are like getting stronger and stronger. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the EFF is becoming very popular with the black youth because they're radical and they just flex their muscles and corporate capitulated. I think clicks should have just capitulated to that on that level because what they essentially did is they capitulated to thuggery, bribery, violence, and they gave in. So obviously, I think we're setting a very dangerous precedent that when there is a problem like there was with the insensitive act, and it was insensitive, but I think that they all did. The CEO came on air and apologized, and they pulled the ad, and they suspended the two individuals, and Unilever apologized, and I mean everybody admitted to the problem, and yet EFF carried on with this bullying tactics, and to the extent that clicks capitulated, and we're setting a very very dangerous precedent, very dangerous precedent. I think corporate South Africa should also grow a bit of balls and stand up when we're bullied.
But I also think, and you speak about that precedent, 2 weeks before that, a bunch of artists had a protest action here in Durban, and they were met with rubber bullets and tear gas, and 30 odd of them were arrested. And, then you go and you got this debacle at Clicks 2 weeks later, and nobody gets arrested for that. And especially the guys that are inciting the violence don't get reprimanded. And I think that's where you have to ask yourself the question now, what is going on? Are we scared of the EFF? Is our government too scared to reprimand Julius Malema and say to him, hey, this is not how it gets done?
No, absolutely. How messed up is that?
Yeah,
How
exactly.
completely messed up is that? That you have EFF members picture bombing a store and no one gets arrested, and the violence and intimidation on grannies, okay, and that's okay, and then the artists get arrested. I mean, how messed up is that?
Exactly.
And you know what? No,
And they were just
you know what?
they were
No,
just having a jaw.
but we're not taking that shit any longer, though.
Yeah.
No, people are stopping. We're not taking this shit any longer. Eh? People saying this is absolutely rubbish, and we're not allowing it to happen. And that's what shifted in lockdown. During lockdown, people saying, "No way, we're not going to allow this to happen anymore."
So, Dave, a youngster wants to get into business, and he's got a great idea. What do you think he does? What should he do? Because this is what you do. You mentor. You
No,
coach
but
them.
if someone's got an idea, that they need to approach somebody that can give them the proper advice as to whether something will work or not. Okay. Some seasoned mentors. There's a lot of seasoned mentors, but before embarking on a journey, just sound it off, people. do not get advice from family or friends or the like. You need to go to somebody that's been in business, that's got some form of experience, and say, listen, this is my idea. And if the idea is worthy, is to engage with a mentor and go through the process of actually developing the idea to a level that it's that we can present it to an investor to participate in the project. So it is a whole process, um, but it takes a lot of balls to go into business. I mean, that's people like to make it so romantic about being an entrepreneur, and believe me, the upside is fantastic. I love it. I love being an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for 32 years, and I find loving it and always learning and growing. But there are times where you're saying, "Oh my God, what am I doing?" And it's part of the journey, eh? And I would never ever change it. I've loved my journey. It's made me to who I am today, and I'm in such an awesome happy space because of it. So I'm
How
growing
im-
all the time.
how
Just loving it.
important are the basics, like registering the
Yeah,
company, SARS, getting all of that stuff right and ready at the ground
yeah.
level?
You see. So if you try to attract investor, all those basics have to be done. But the thing is, you don't have to do it yourself. Get somebody to do it for you. But those boring things, the boring compliance issues that we as entrepreneurs hate doing, and I'm the group CEO, and I hate doing the compliance. Okay, but it's just part of what it means to be an entrepreneur, to take responsibility for your actions, and sometimes we forget that. We just have to be responsible. So in particular, if we're utilizing other people's money.
Absolutely. Well, in 3 words, in 3 words,
Three
describe
in
your
3 words:
3 words, only 3 words. Describe yourself, Dave.
impact venture capitalist.
Impact Venture Capitalist. Dave, as
Impact venture
always, it's
capitalist.
been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Um, this hour has gone by so quickly, as I thought it would. But your insights are incredible, and I really do look up to you and admire what you are doing for other people. And I just wish you
Okay,
all
now.
the luck going forward. And I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of people indebted to you in the future.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, really appreciate this opportunity. Okay.
Right, Dave. That is Dave Romero joining us on Monday Madness today. And like I said, hell of a nice guy. And we didn't even talk really much about the economy because that's the type of guy he is. Very cool to talk to. And you should certainly go onto the website. It's Cabin International. You can just Google it. And go check out what they're all about. And also, we've spoken in previous shows about the Atlantis Project, where they are feeding youngsters, and they're always looking for help. So if you can help, go look on Facebook, go follow it up, search for Dave Romero on Facebook, and get involved because he is doing some incredible stuff. And in December, when I'm in the Cape, I'm planning to do 2 shows in the Cape. I'm definitely going to hook Dave up on the show live. I think that would be cool. We can sip on a Merlot together.